gonna zipline directly into the harpoon?
What do you know about planes?
I know a lot about planes.
Buckle in, dude. It's gonna suck.
Put your hand on the screen.
How did they find out? Who was the one?
This show has gotten infinitely more gay.
The mystical land of New Jersey.
I don't understand how the laws in this country work anymore.
Welcome to the Rebel Radio Show, live, uncut, and uncensored on WSRR Radio, saving the underground music scene. To my right, he's not a gorilla, but he can beat off 100 men. It's Shane E.
Howdy.
On the board is Jules.
Hi. He can do what?
I'm Radio's Rebel DJ Style.
I can beat off more than 100 men. You haven't seen nothing yet.
At least 100 men. How about that?
Listen, I could beat off 100 gorillas. All right?
You want to put that to the test?
I'm a mad
Should
man.
I call PETA?
I'm a mad man. Lois? Is that you?
216-859-8699. That's 216-859-8699 if you work at PETA. You want to confront Shane about his beating off. You can feel free to text that number. We're live today on this Monday evening right here on WSRR Radio. And we're onion free.
Onion free since 2009. I actually just recently started liking onions on my burgers. I don't know if that's a big deal for you guys or not, but
I love
I'm glad
onions.
you grew the fuck up.
yeah. Well, I've always liked onion rings and I've always liked Funyuns, but maybe over the
Funyuns
last
are not at all a determination of onions.
Well, Funyuns are onion flavored chips.
They're
Thus,
fun, flavored chips.
no, they're onion. It says that on the back. Onion flavored chips.
But they're fun.
They are fun. I don't disagree.
They don't taste like onions.
Kind of.
They really don't taste like onion. Like, if you eat a raw onion, it's not the same as eating a Funyun.
So you're just admitting to eating raw onions
Actually,
frequently?
yeah. He does do that.
Sick. I'm glad I have a partner in this.
I like onions, Shane.
I'm glad.
What can I say?
I'm glad I have someone else I can confide in about
Yeah.
my
You know how they make, like, caramel apples?
caramel onions. Yeah.
Hand those out
No.
in October. Well, this man's not going to get one, I can tell you that much. Or maybe he is.
A caramel covered
Caramel
onion?
dipped onion, yeah. Halloween caramel onions at the WSRR studio
So-
at Hat Night.
There's a guy in Texas. I really like his name. It's Demiri Ardell Wilson.
Hell yeah.
Shout out Demiri. And he filed a petition last month with Texas 269th
Jurisdiction.
Judicial
Oh.
Judicial
Judicial
District
District
Court of Harris County.
We
All
got
guys,
there.
I think I got it from here.
It's been a week, all right?
So he claimed that his burger had onions on it when he asked for no onions, and Whataburger Wilson accused them of failing to, quote, act in accordance with the appropriate standard of care, and which caused him to suffer, quote, personal injuries.
That's crazy. I love that.
I mean,
Do we know if it actually did? Like, did he have an actual... Was he actually allergic to onion, or he just didn't want onion on his burger?
I don't care either way. I think this is valid. If they put onions on your burger and you said no onions, you sue.
I mean...
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because it doesn't even say that he is necessarily allergic to onions. It just says that when he ate it, he had an allergic reaction that needed medical attention. So, I mean, I guess that means that he is
Right,
there's a
yeah,
difference between being allergic to onions and having an allergic reaction to, like, maybe bad food or something like that, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's not, like, deathly allergic, I would assume, but... I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Maybe
you,
he had like hives.
I didn't know you could be allergic to onions.
Yeah, right.
You can be allergic to anything.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
listen, onions are not listed on Whataburger's possible allergens on their website under possible allergens.
Which is crazy. So if you can be allergic to anything, who are Whataburger or any restaurant or any food place, for that matter, to have a approved list of allergens? Like, make sure if someone asks for no peanut, we don't use the fryer oil that has peanuts in it. Make sure, You know,
Right.
if someone says, what else
Right.
is a major allergy? Gluten. If someone says gluten, there's no bread near this thing.
They,
But like onion is equally as much of an allergy, apparently.
they have at like the bottom of most menus, they have like a list that says like eggs, wheat, and like
Like the
uh,
little
the-
logos.
yeah,
The
and lets you know like what
Mhm.
allergies to be aware of. If things it says may include these, but my allergies are never on there. I'm allergic to mangoes, and people make random things with mangoes all the time.
yeah, right. And so you just have to know.
I
not to
usually
order.
just ask.
right.
Like if somebody says, "Oh, this tastes a little sweet," or "This might have mangoes in it," I ask the waiter, "Hey, can you ask what's in this?" And if they don't know, I don't eat it.
And so then, yeah, again, my whole thing, did he let the server know that he was allergic to onions, or did he just say
He
no?
probably
No
just
onion.
said no onion.
Yeah, right.
Which, do you have to? If I'm ordering
No.
without onions,
You shouldn't
Yeah.
have to.
there shouldn't
You're
be
right.
onions. I
Right.
shouldn't have to disclose my HIPAA information to you. That's a HIPAA violation.
Well,
Asking me what I'm allergic to.
Get my hip out of here, man.
if you're allergic to onions, it might be on you to let them know so they don't cross-contaminate.
I'm telling you, no onion. No onion. That means I shouldn't taste onion on this fucking burger.
Well, it doesn't mean there wasn't
Yeah,
cross-contamination.
But also, I don't know.
If I'm worried about that, if my allergy is severe enough to where I'm worried about cross-contamination, then I'm saying I have an onion allergy.
Right.
If
Yeah.
it's something where I'm comfortable going to a burger place that has onions on their
Right.
burger and saying, hey,
Right.
no onion,
Right.
it can't be that serious.
Yeah, because like
Well,
if
and
I go
also,
to
like-
a smoothie place, I tell them I'm allergic to mangoes. Please
you have
keep
to
that
know
apart.
if you're allergic to onions, you have to know going in, like, hey, I should let them know specifically that I have an onion allergy because this is a burger restaurant.
Yeah.
So, like how you in a smoothie place say, hey, I'm allergic to mangoes
Yeah.
because that is
something that would be at a smoothie place.
Right,
Like
right.
onions would be out of
Right. So I feel like it's
Is he just not giving enough information and now he's lucky? Because
Listen.
like this is valid. This is a valid lawsuit.
I say so.
you guys are gonna have to help me with the numbers, but he's asking for monetary relief of over 250,000.00, but less than 1,000.
He's asking for monetary relief over 250,000, but less than $1 million.
Told you guys I learned how to
Quarter
read.
of $1 million.
Told you guys I learned how to figure out numbers.
Lied.
I lied.
Just for that one episode. He studied
Yeah.
that article day
Yeah.
and night.
Yeah.
Threw it in ChatGPT. Asked
I
it to read it back to
lied.
him.
Don't know how to read shit.
So he's asking for over $250,000
Good for
in
him.
this lawsuit. I don't think he's going to get it. However, I'm rooting for him. I think at any time, if you ask for something specifically and they ignore it, there needs to be repercussion.
The plot thickens, ladies and gents. This is not the first time Wilson has sued over onions. He also sued Sonic Drive-In last year for serving him onions in a meal which he purchased on April 14th, 2023. The Houston Chronicle reported he said that the onions made him, quote, feel sick and left him with, quote, serious personal injuries that made him seek out medical care. Sonic also denies the allegations, telling Wilson he should, quote, be required to prove the charges and allegations, quote, against the company.
Okay, hang on.
Sonic said prove it.
I was with Sonic until that last part. I
Well,
was starting to
the
think
lawsuit-
that maybe this guy wasn't actually allergic to onions and he's just trying to get some money. But until Sonic said, well, fucking, you should have to prove that you're allergic to onions then. Fuck you, Sonic. I asked for it without
know.
onions.
I don't
Serve it to
know.
me without onions.
I don't know.
How hard? How hard can it be
No.
to not put onions on the burger? I'm
They-
asking you to do less work.
The lawsuit was thrown out.
It's ridiculous.
The lawsuit was thrown out. So
And
even
he's
the
trying
courts,
it again.
Yeah, because he's a sneaky bastard.
Well, stop putting fucking onions on the man's burger.
You are on the wrong side.
No,
right
he
now.
needs to show up to
Honestly-
Whataburger and be like, you know who I am? You know what I will do if you put onions on this burger?
Do you see this face? Do you not know that I'm allergic to onions? The
You
fuck
know
are
the
you,
last
dude?
people that put onions on my burger?
I will sue the fuck out of your employer.
I will see you in court, Cashier Bradley.
I
Dude.
feel like Style just wants to sue people that put pickles on his burgers.
I will.
Now
Now that there's grounds for it.
I'm all down
Now
for
that there's
suing
grounds
people. I think that suing people is fine under the right circumstances. I think that this guy may or may not be fishing for a payday.
I'm not saying that I think he's. I'll put it this way. I think maybe he's exaggerating his onion allergy a little bit.
Personal injuries.
I'm thinking maybe he's not personally injured. If his symptoms were just, I felt sick. I'm thinking maybe he's not, deathly allergic to onions. However, the man asked for no onion. He should not have to get onion. It's not that hard. It's really not.
He calls it a Wilson called the meal a manufacturing defect, that it was, quote, unsafe to eat. The manufacturing defect was the inclusion of onions, he said.
I think he needs to find different terms to use here. I think he's suing
That's a
for the wrong
manufacturing
things.
defect right there.
This guy's got
Who
marbles in
manufactured
his
this
brain.
burger? Let me see the machine.
Oh God, yeah, this guy's
Turn
a
off the onion switch.
fucking robot, dude. I'm suing.
Listen, if he was suing on different grounds, like false advertising, if you have a receipt that says no onion and your burger has onion, sue him for false advertising.
Right. So Whataburger denies the allegations and asks for, quote, strict proof from.
Oh my goodness.
What do you mean? That's the most bullshit part, though.
I think that if this man is trying to sue a company for like over $250,000, I think that he should show proof that he is allergic to onions.
I think
That's
all
a lot of money.
all the proof he needs.
Is that he went to the doctor after eating Whataburger?
No.
And
That's,
have his receipt.
that's still
and
too
a
much.
picture of the
Yeah, just have a receipt that
No.
says no onion. That's all the proof he needs. I don't care if he's allergic or not. The fact that he was served onions when he was told, I don't want onion.
Dude, you're dying on this BK have it your way hill.
What's so hard about not putting something on a burger?
I mean, I don't
You're
disagree
blatantly ignoring.
with you.
The customer's
But
always right.
listen,
and you're blatantly ignoring the
if-
customer.
If this guy was potentially, now let's go to hypothetical land. If this guy was potentially fishing for a lawsuit, do you think that it might be potentially possible that he would maybe, backdoor some onions and slice them
You
on
think he's got onions in his car?
I think he's doing the pickle under the tongue trick from
I don't
SpongeBob.
I don't think he's Bubble Bass.
I think he's bubble bassing it and pulling the onions out from like his car or something, putting them in there, eating them, and being like, "Oh,
He's
manufacturing
making himself sick.
defect."
There's CCTV footage of him at the fucking Marks buying onions earlier in the day. Yeah.
Sneaking the onions into the burger.
In the parking lot, opens
Yeah,
the fucking
yeah.
package and sneaks some onions in. What are these?
Very
Why doesn't
like,
he open the burger before he eats it?
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
shouldn't have to.
That's
no,
another- no.
absolutely not. He should not have to.
All
If
right.
I order something without pickle or without onion, I should have the confidence that when I bite into it, those things aren't on there.
All right. Hopefully he's run out of air by now. I think that this is a situation where, like, if you're
allergic, you check.
If you're allergic, you should check. I get food that's plain all the time. I get plain food very regularly, and I think that is something that I just did that today. I ordered a quarter pounder from McDonald's, a very specific way that I like it. Before I even pulled out of the
Stepped on.
parking lot, I opened the box and checked it to make sure that it was right.
Looked under the hood, made sure it all looked good.
Checked it out, made sure it was looking good. I'm a smart man. I know what I'm getting into when I go around a McDonald's drive-thru. I'm fucking around. I could potentially find out.
If I work at a Ford dealership and you come in
All right.
and you buy a 2023 Ford Flex, you're going to assume that the seats come in the car.
Yeah.
When I roll up and drop your car off in front of the building, you're going to check the seats to make sure they're in there before you sign that paper?
This is a
You're
very,
not.
This is
You're going to
this is
assume the seats are in
You're
there.
appling my
I'm
orange.
assuming
You're
the
appling my
pickle's
orange.
not on the burger.
You're appling my orange. A Ford car dealership is way different than a fucking
I
Whataburger.
don't think it is.
Well,
I think they're pretty much 1-to-1.
216-859-8699. Whataburger or Ford car dealership.
dad didn't leave for cigarettes. He's out in the car, listening to the Rebel Radio Show.
Hey, welcome back to the Rebel Radio Show. If you're a local or independent artist out there working on your next EP, single, album, or release, make sure you check out SynergyMusicStudio.com for recording, mixing, mastering, production, live session work, reamping, and more. Synergy Music Studio is your one-stop destination for all your mixing and mastering needs. Once again, SynergyMusicStudio.com. And if you're in the CLE, the AKN, is that what we decided was Akron?
I think that's probably Akron.
I'm just going to say the 330.
AKN, yeah, 330 sounds a lot better.
If you're in the CLE, the 330.
The 216, the 330.
I'm a 440 myself.
I'm
You know that
also a 440.
Doesn't I don't know if I've said this on air before. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. I went to get a new phone and I had to get a new number
Yeah,
and they
you
were
just
like,
pick.
what area code do you want? 216, 330, 440? And I was like, I'm not moving. And they're like, you don't have to. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's crazy.
Doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, super wild.
The whole
That's
days
crazy.
of like not having to dial your area code because you're in your area, that's over.
Right.
We don't.
It's not an area code anymore.
Yeah, no, it's just
Just your phone number.
It's just a code.
yeah. Well, the reason I was talking about that is because
Sorry.
right down the road here is Hatch's Honey. They're a local, raw, natural honey farm, and they have a whole bunch of flavors and products for you to try, like all-natural honey sticks. They have flavors like blueberry, cinnamon, hot, and more, including lavender as well. So, for Hatch's Honey, you can go to hatcheshoney.com today, and they are their own bee farm. They will not be affected by this 250 million bee shortage on the highway in
Yeah,
northern
there's
Washington.
no shortage.
Well, there is wherever they were going.
It's a shortage
Yeah.
now. I guess it's a surplus there.
Yeah,
But
surplus. Where
it's-
were they going?
It said it was on the Canada-U.S. border, but I'm not exactly sure.
So this article that I have here is emergency officials have been busy as of late cleaning up a commercial truck full of beehives crashed in northern Washington. It unleashed 250 million bees. So, hope you like honey.
So we've talked about vodka being spilled on the highway, nacho cheese, tomatoes, chocolate,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dimes.
dimes,
Mm-hmm.
and now bees.
Yeah, buddy.
The big six, really.
The Sinister Six.
The sinister six.
Oh, God.
What is the most sinister of the sinister six? Of nacho cheese,
I
chocolate,
think
coins, bees,
Or
vodka.
I was really pulling for nacho cheese gots to suck. That has to suck getting nacho. Like,
Nacho cheese is up there.
just the pure thought of having to get nacho cheese out of my car wheels, because it's going to take more than going through a car wash, I think.
Yeah,
I'd have to go to
You have
like
to
a...
eat some chips.
you have
Get
to
a
get some
lot
elbow
of
grease in there.
Yeah, I feel like I
Get
have to
in
go
the
to
tires.
a mechanic. Give him a lot of chips. Like, all right, eat this for me, please.
I don't know how to do auto nachos.
But yeah, I think nacho cheese might be... Maybe that's my pick. But bees also sucks, too.
No, bees is the better.
No,
Best-
okay.
the two best. Hang on, the two best. Number one,
There's no best.
no, there is a best. We've determined that dimes is the best because of the like you get to
It's a-
shovel up some dimes.
It's not after. I feel like after the first time that it makes the sound, I would be done. I'd be like, you know what? This actually isn't that fun anymore.
No, I'm gonna hate it every time I'm not making that sound. Every time that sound happens,
When
it's
you're
gonna,
shoveling
it's
up
gonna
bees.
suck me right back in.
Shoveling up the bees or the nacho cheese.
Vibrating
stinging
my shovel.
you.
I honestly think like
Bees are the
driving
two best.
through 250 million bees, they would be getting into your car like you can't see through that.
What is your guys' idea of bees? Like
Big
Bees.
swarm.
You know what? The bee-looking ones.
You know,
You
bees.
seen the movie Jerry Seinfeld?
No, he hasn't.
I haven't. I've
Oh,
never seen
well,
the bee movie.
Yeah.
That's on you.
That's
That's
his
on you.
problem.
Maybe that's the issue here.
It
I don't know what
really
bees
is.
You don't have an emotional connection.
I don't. But here's the problem. Bees fucking move. They're not staying stagnant in that one
But-
spot.
Yeah,
like,
but they're gonna
there's-
be
They're gonna
freaking
disperse.
out.
No,
they're gonna
they're
be like,
free.
"Whoa, where are we?"
Listen,
free.
listen.
They're gonna be like, "I've never been to Washington before."
There's 250 million of them. I guarantee there's a big swarm happening.
And then it's gone.
No,
Couple
they
seconds.
stay with the queen.
Couple seconds, then they'd leave.
No, but the queen's booking too.
Yeah,
Wherever
they're not
there's
hanging
probably
out on the bridge.
multiple.
They are going to be hanging out. I bet there's a lot of bee nests on that bridge right now.
No.
What? Oh, you don't know that, though. You don't know that.
As much as I've researched bees,
Shut the
I
fuck
can
up.
confidently.
You haven't. None. For the listeners at home, zero research
I can
of
confidently
bees.
say no.
Okay, you know what? All right, I'll let that one slide.
The truck tips over. The bees get loose.
Dude.
And then they're flying in every direction all over. For a brief second, you're going to see a big swarm of bees, and then they're going to be dispersed. It's over.
I
They're not
really
stuck
don't
on the
think
bridge.
so. I think they're sticking around
No,
at
why
least
would
a
they
while.
stay- why?
Because there's 250 million of them.
They're being transported in a truck. They're not going to want to stick around. They
The truck
already
tip-
don't want to be there.
The truck tipped over at 4 a.m.
So no one's even on the highway.
Bees are not night animals.
What?
You think they're going to stay in there and sleep?
Yeah,
They're
there's
staying
going to
in the
be
truck?
less. They're going to be like, oh, man, well, I'm tired. I'm just going to go back to bed, I
I
guess.
don't think you know shit about bees.
I've seen the movie. I'm pretty sure I know a lot about
Well,
them.
I've seen Seinfeld.
So have I.
So, like, cancels out.
No.
It's all the
doesn't.
bee movie is.
No.
Animated Seinfeld.
There's bees, and there's a movie.
I understand the gist of the bee movie. Jerry's a bee. This lady wants to fuck him. There's a tennis ball.
Why are the
No.
bees the best option?
They're not. They're the second best option. Coins.
I think the
'Cause the-
dimes would be really hard to drive
No,
through.
I am getting out of my car and shoveling through the dimes.
No.
We're
I'm
talking
not.
cleanup, by the way.
I'm getting to my destination before you.
Everything I'm talking
Because
about,
I'm not stopping for the dimes.
everything that I'm talking about is like me actively driving through them.
You could drive through the dimes.
I got a
See, I
truck.
don't know if I'm thinking about. I think
I have a
sometimes
truck.
I'm thinking about actively driving through them. Other times I'm thinking about
Clean
if
up.
I was just on the highway and maybe had to clean it up or something.
I'm
like
thinking
that.
the two worst. The two worst are vodka and nacho cheese.
Vodka. There's no cleanup.
Vodka, your
Rain.
car is going to reek of alcohol, and as soon as you leave city limits, a cop's going to pull you over, and you're going to get arrested.
No, you just tell them. I was on that.
I was in the vodka accident.
I was in the vodka tip over accident on
They're gonna say,
Saskatchewan
"Sir."
Bridge.
They're going to say, sir, step out of the car.
Yeah, they're gonna search. Nothing's gonna be in there. It's
Yeah,
gonna
right.
reek, and
right.
you're just gonna
You're
say,
gonna take
yeah.
a breathalyzer. It's gonna come out clean. They're gonna be like, all right.
Do I get pulled over, though, if it's fucking tomatoes? I don't. Tomatoes are a better option to drive through.
What were the other ones?
Chocolate, tomatoes, nacho cheese, coins, bees.
There was more, wasn't there?
I feel like there's been more, but we've also talked about a million billion things.
Oh, how about trucks stop tipping over? There was the one that was dropping Apple products last week.
Oh yeah.
So there's that one, too. I guess you can count that.
That
That's
was
probably
a
one of the better
heist.
ones. No, that
That
was
was
an
a
accident.
heist.
No, it
That
was an
was a
accident.
heist.
They accidentally did that.
I feel like bees are probably still the worst, but also if I'm driving through it, it's not the worst.
Tell me in what scenario bees are the worst, because it's not for cleanup. It takes care of itself. It's not for
You're
driving
No,
through.
it doesn't.
think
It
driving
doesn't
through
take care of itself.
They're going to fly away. I'm not
No.
scooping
No,
bees.
they're staying in that environment.
They're
and
not.
They're destroying it.
They're staying in the environment of all of Washington. They're not staying in the environment of this fucking road.
No, yet I feel like a lot of them would.
I don't think so.
I feel like a lot of
And
them
even
would.
if they do, how does that affect me? Driving to work.
You're
There's
gonna
bees
get. You're
everywhere
gonna
all
get
the time.
stung.
I'm not.
You're gonna
Hey,
get stung.
That,
How often are you driving and a bee stings
Your
you?
car's gonna slurp one up
on that bridge, make sure you close your
right
window.
through the air vents.
No,
Yeah.
you don't need to close your windows. There's bees everywhere all the
You're gonna
time.
get bug bite.
You know how often bees just come near me?
And how often do they sting you in your car?
Once,
Okay, that's pretty good. It's pretty good.
but it happened.
I will
Still pretty
say,
good.
one time I did a vanishing bee act in my car. I was sitting in the McDonald's parking lot and I looked over and there was a bee and I freaked out and I got out of the car and I shooed it out and then like two more popped up and I opened up all my windows and I shooed them out and then I closed my windows, sat back down in the car, another bee pops up. I'm like, why are there so many fucking bees in my car? It was really scary actually.
Let
I
me
was
get this
afraid to
straight.
drive home after that.
You were parked in the parking lot
I was.
and you got out of your car.
There were bees.
And then you got back in your car and there were more bees.
I thought the bees were
and
gone.
you didn't just drive away
There were bees in my car.
with the windows down and just drive. To leave.
No, no. They were sitting in the seat next to me. Not even joking. They were like, nestled
What
up.
was in your car that they wanted?
I don't know. I tried to figure that out. I
Yeah.
don't know. I like looked under my passenger seat and shit. I was very confused,
Yeah.
and I like sniffed the corner of my seat. And I was like, "Is there honey or something like that?" I didn't know. I was like, "Is there sugar? What's going on?" Because it was like literally a vanishing bee act. It just kept coming.
But they didn't sting you.
I did not get stung.
Bees are peaceful.
Bees can be peaceful.
They can be.
Not all bees, though. Some bees are mean bees.
Okay, these aren't like yellow jackets getting transported. I'm pretty sure these are honeybees if we're transporting them.
They were.
I don't know. Are they honeybees?
They were honeybees.
Well, honeybees are nice.
So this is one of the two best ones. Nacho cheese and vodka are the two worst.
Well, and the other thing that I'm thinking too, because there was a cleanup. There has to have been at least a
For the
cleanup crew
truck, yeah.
called. Well, for the truck, but also for the bees, because, and I don't think that it's that bad because they probably called beekeepers to keep the bees.
yeah, it's not an issue. It's especially to the drivers. This isn't an issue.
Jules, I'm kind of on Styles' side though. I think bees might be one of the best ones.
I'm
You just
telling you,
keep
coins and bees are the two best.
I don't think about coins.
Bees,
So then, what are the two worst?
vodka, and nacho cheese.
Okay.
Nacho
No,
cheese
because I feel like the vodka one, you can just talk your way out of it.
depends on how good you are drunk. 216-859-8699 if you need a breathalyzer. Tuba, piece of shit. You're a stinky rope.
Clip that.
Whoa! Check it out!
Look at that.
GenericClothes.com.
Wow. Amazing. Generic.
Stick it to the big brand clothing companies. Have a laugh at their expense with GenericClothes.com because nobody cares about the details. Get to the point with GenericClothes.com. Proud supporters of WSRR Radio and local and independent music, just like Hellbender Vinyl out of Pittsburgh, PA. If you're an artist looking for your next album release to make something special, get it pressed on a variety of different colors and styles with HellbenderVinyl.com. They work with local and independent artists to make your album pressed exactly the way you want it, and every customer gets 5 free test presses at no additional cost. Once again, that's HellbenderVinyl.com. I want to know, because I know where to go to get my audio produced.
Mm-hmm.
I know where to go to get my honey.
Mm-hmm.
I know where to go to get my clothes.
Mm-hmm.
I know where to go to get my vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
Where do I go to get my bath water?
Online.
Online. You can hit
Well,
up.
do you want your own bathwater? Because we can get into that.
Oh, we can go to the war room right now.
There would be so much. There'd be so much stock
No, you should
of the style bath water.
stock of plenty.
You got buy one get one.
It'd be like vegetable broth.
And I'm
put it on the merch page.
and I'm not
Little
skimping.
jars.
I'm not skimping. You're getting a liter.
Oh.
Getting a lot.
Can I get a gallon?
No,
Getting a lot.
only in liters.
A 1 liter,
1
like
liter.
a 1 liter bottle.
Yeah, I drink the 1 liter of Pepsi in the bath and fill it up with the water.
It's pretty sick.
Do not
honestly.
test it for urine.
Well,
Ew, ew, ew.
Yeah, Pepsi will go right through you.
you should hit up Dr. Squatch though. You should hit up our friends at Dr. Squatch.
The ones that won't sponsor us.
No, they're not our friends. They actually fuck Dr. Squatch. They apparently rip off like other companies.
Do they really?
Yeah, they just essentially drop ship and like repackage.
Oh,
their-
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
crazy because so I know like they do so Dr. Squatch did like the man scented soaps,
Mhm.
right? But like Duke Cannon was the company that did that first.
Yeah. So
and they're Duke Cannon's significantly less known than Dr. Squatch now.
they, from my understanding, again, this came out like when Dr. Squatch was popping off with like YouTube, like advertising for YouTubers
Sure.
and stuff, maybe 5-10 years ago. It came out that they were essentially buying from smaller brands, repackaging, and like attaching
really?
like collaborations and stuff like that. to them,
Really?
and then upselling them and calling it Dr. Squatch.
Well, I'm glad to say I never bought Dr. Squatch.
But Dr. Squatch is selling a soap that smells like Sydney Sweeney's bath water. Whoa. Blah, 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 blah.
I thought we were over this by now. I thought, who was the one that sold bathwater? Gamer girl bathwater?
Bella Delphine.
What was she?
She was just like a streamer,
Okay.
you know, e-girl sort
Okay.
of thing.
Yeah, never knew what she was actually known for other than that. But
Yeah, I think just like doing
okay.
streaming and stuff.
But now we're doing it again, but this time in soap, right? Like
Yeah, it's just a soap that smells like her bath water.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
So like if she uses lavender bubble bath, it's just going to be lavender scented.
Yeah,
You
I
can
don't.
There's so much leeway with that.
It's just horny bait, if I'm being honest. Like, at least that's what it seems to me, is it's just horny bait.
I thought about this though.
Mm-hmm.
I like this a lot more than the Gamer Girl bath water. Don't
Oh.
clip that because
Tastes a lot
it tastes a lot better. You get more bang for your buck.
valid.
You get to make your own bath water with
Yeah,
it.
right,
It's great.
right,
yeah.
right.
No, but I like this better because if you look at the Target demo, who's buying this?
Mm-hmm.
It's probably people who need to use soap. So at least they're getting soap.
It's like a loophole.
Yeah.
So it's a roundabout way to get them to wash their ass.
Right.
Really doing the chuds one over.
Doing the Lord's work
Yeah.
out here.
Who the hell is buying soap that is supposed to smell like Sydney Sweeney's bathwater?
The same kind of, exactly like Style said, the same kind of people that need to be using more fucking soap because they
Yeah.
stink.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably the first bar of
stink.
soap they've ever bought.
Yeah. But so I brought this in, and I brought it in because it was interesting, and I had read that Jacob
Fatu.
Jacob Eldatori or Editori, another co-star of
Edamame.
Sydney Sweeney's from Euphoria, also was selling a soap that smelled like his bathwater. But there was
Through Dr. Squatch?
I don't know if it was through Dr. Squatch. It might have been
Okay.
through a different company, but still, same concept
yeah.
of like, this is what my bathwater
I'm
smells
famous.
like. Right.
Smell my bath.
So I read a comment on Reddit that was, there are no more true movie stars. Because the comment above it says, did she get addicted to the hustle or is she drowning in debt? Like, what's the reason for her selling this soap, right? Or what's the reason with her collabing with Dr. Squatch? And
Yeah.
the comment under it says, there are no more true movie stars. The only ones are the same ones from 30 years ago. These celebs have an extremely short shelf life, especially ones like her. She's got to capitalize now before the next one pops up. And I just thought it was an interesting conversation about, like, modern celebrities are not, modern movie stars and actors and actresses are not, like, young ones our age, are not the same, like, not viewed in the same light as, like, a Leonardo DiCaprio or an Angelina Jolie or Samuel Jackson or someone like that. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like it's the new like social media age. I feel like they're more accessible
right.
than Leonardo.
Leonardo.
Yeah.
Love their pizza.
And
You know,
yeah.
like the big A-listers, right.
especially like with TikTok, everybody has a TikTok now. You can just follow them. They post their everyday lives. Everybody's on Instagram, and you can follow your favorite celebrities now
Right.
more than you ever could.
And I feel like I had a conversation with my wife about this, and she brought up, like, there are celebrities now that do a lot of, like, skincare partnerships
Yeah.
or, like, alcohol.
Makeup line.
Or, like, an alcohol partnership, and then they
Mhm.
have their own alcoholic beverage, and, like, that is kind of a newer thing, kind of old, like...
I think that's probably a bigger token of it, is they realize there's more money to be made in sponsorships and your brand than there is being in consecutive movies. And there's a lot more growth.
More like residual from
Sure.
Dr.
Like
Squash
Dale
rather
Earnhardt.
than...
Yeah.
If she does 6 Dr. Squatches, that's the same as one movie or
Right.
something like that.
Well, like, The Rock, right? He's done less and less movies, but he has more and more products now.
Right, and partnerships.
Yeah.
Right. So is he making the same amount of money from doing
He's probably
that?
making more.
I
Right.
would say more.
That's interesting. That is an interesting point of, like, the social media age, and that's kind of how we move now is...
Business forward
Right,
instead of
consumer forward, and, like, what we want to buy is kind of at the forefront rather than what we are. Like, you don't... My wife brought up the point of, like, you don't go to a movie to see an actor anymore. Like, I'm not going to go see the new Ryan Reynolds movie, right? Because I watch Ryan Reynolds, and I want
Right.
to follow Ryan Reynolds, and whatever he does, I'm going to watch regardless. It's not like that anymore. And it used to be like that.
Yeah.
That's how our parents and our grandparents, that's how, like, I remember watching the Leonardo DiCaprio movies, or the Matt Damon movies, because I love Matt Damon. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, they would follow specific actors and actresses regardless of what the movie was, just because, and maybe now, today, it's the same thing, but just with products? Maybe?
I feel like the internet aspect of it too has a lot to do with we don't care as much because it's so accessible. So like you look at someone like Charlie Sheen in the 80s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh man, I really like that Charlie Sheen guy. What's the next movie he's going to be in? I'm going to go and see that because I liked him in this movie. What's the fucking Timothée Chalamet? If I
Right.
like Timothée Chalamet, okay, he's in the show, and I can follow him on Instagram, and he's doing all these
Right,
interviews all the time,
right.
and he's in this other project while this show is
See him
on.
at the Knicks, at the NBA Finals or
Right.
whatever, right?
Like, I don't need to follow his career. It's there and it's
right.
present.
It's very in my face already.
Right.
Right.
I feel
Yeah.
like that's a big aspect of it, too. And then when you add something in, like, partnerships and product placement and things like that,
Right.
it becomes even less of a factor.
Because another, like, just point that I feel like is valid is this bath soap, this Dr. Squatch's bath soap, is not necessarily meant for, like, fans of Sydney Sweeney's movies.
No.
You know?
No.
That it's a completely different target demo. And so it's interesting that she can market herself in that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like doing something that's very, maybe you would say, off brand for her, but is this successful? I guess we'll find out if it sells well. but-
I wonder how much money this makes her
right.
in the end goal, or how much it already has just for signing on to do it, right?
Right. Yeah. Because, I mean, she does, like, you see these actors do more, like, small Hulu ads or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, small ads in between your streaming show or whatever the case is. And I think that that's another interesting concept, too, is, like, seeing someone that you would think is a big celebrity, and then they're doing an ad for, like, a mobile game or something
Right.
like that on your Hulu show. And you're like, what are you doing here? What's going on?
To the point where, like, you don't see a lot of genuine commercials now that aren't product placed with actors.
Right.
Like, look at fucking like Mint Mobile or something. It's Ryan Reynolds' brand, right?
Right.
You look at Dr. Squatch and there's Sydney Sweeney. You look at all these IHOPs using Dale Jr. now to advertise.
Mhm.
Like, it's not just random actors talking about IHOP anymore. It's the product hinges on, hey, we know people like Dale Earnhardt Jr.,
Target
so let's use
specific.
Dale Earnhardt
Yeah.
Jr. to sell this product.
Right.
It's no longer just, okay, we'll hire some actors to make a commercial, which I think it's a weird aspect of target demoing, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Of like, we know you might not give a fuck about this soap, but if you think Sydney Sweeney's hot, then we can sell you soap.
Right.
I don't know. It's weird. And again, it goes to the point of like, I think we just don't care anymore about actors being actors. And I think that's a
right.
good thing overall, but like it leads
Yeah.
to shit like this.
Right. And I like, and I feel like it could be a part of a larger conversation of like, movies don't feel as big of a deal anymore, maybe.
Right.
Like when a movie came out, it was a big deal. And like now it's sure like Avengers movies or something like that. That's going to feel like a big deal when that comes out, or the next Avatar or whatever. They're going to make hype.
People are more into releasing series on like something that you can stream.
Right. This
Like-
new 4-part miniseries
Yeah.
is super popular right now. Right.
I guess the bigger question is this. Has this ever worked for you? Like, have you ever looked at something and said, oh, this is this person's product, or this is a product heavily tied to this person, that's why I want to buy it? Because, like, I mean, this has been around forever. You have like Sammy Hagar's Jägermeister, Dan Aykroyd, Crystal Skull vodka. A lot of it's with alcohol, right?
Right.
But I've never looked at something like, oh, Dr. Squash did a fucking thing with Halo when the last game came out, and they had
Right.
Master Chief fucking soap.
Right.
I've never been like, oh man, that's the Master Chief soap, I gotta buy it.
Right.
I don't think anything's ever clicked like that.
The Dolly Parton and the Selena Gomez cooking sets, but that's about it because it's like pots
Did
and
you
pans.
buy it?
No, but I want them. I have a couple pieces of the Dolly Parton one.
I used to buy shoes that were like collabs with specific people that I don't want to mention anymore.
Say it.
Kanye West and Travis Scott.
Yeah.
Oof.
I know. 2 for 2. I made a lot of money off
2 for
them,
2.
Made a lot of money off them, but yeah. I definitely used to buy shoes specifically that were collaborations with people because I knew that it would make me more money. But I will say to that point, have I ever done something like that? I don't think yes or no.
The Travie Patty.
I think that I have been swayed to buy that specific one out of the cast of, or like the menu of whatever my other options are.
Yeah.
If I'm already going to get that thing, or if it's with a collab with someone I like and I already go to that restaurant or that place, I will get that maybe because then, yeah. So I think there's maybe some sway, but only if I was already doing that, or like if I'm already a patron at your establishment.
If you were walking into like the liquor aisle and you saw all these vodkas and then you also saw Wheatley, would you buy Wheatley? Because
Maybe, right? Maybe I
Cody
might buy,
Rhodes.
I might buy Wheatley, right? If
that
there was,
would be an influence.
if it was all like regular ass vodka bottles and then like Cody Rhodes logo, American Nightmare logo on like, you know, the printed side of the, I would 1000% buy that one.
Yeah.
Without a single doubt in my mind. Yeah. So I think situations like that, like there was a seltzer brand that released a grape flavored seltzer that was a collaboration with Death Row Records. And I thought that was kind of cool. Death Row Records is like Snoop Dogg and stuff like that. Thought that was kind of cool, and so I bought that because I was like, oh, Death Row and grape, I'll try it. Like, so it does have some influence over me, but again, only if I'm already like going to purchase alcohol.
Right.
Yeah.
Then sure, I'll buy the one that I think looks cool or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking, like, to go back to the idea of we don't have, like, genuine movie stars anymore,
Right, because I think that that's a big, and it's something else that led me to that. I'm sorry to cut you off here. I saw someone say Jennifer Lawrence. It was like a picture of Jennifer Lawrence winning an Oscar or something like that. That she was one of the last real, like, Hollywood movie stars where she came up in the industry, started on small indie projects, got it to bigger, and then got Oscar nominated, and then won an Oscar, and now is, like, considered a big A-lister. So she's considered one of the last, like, Hollywood icons, right?
Right.
And I think that that's interesting. That, like, we don't really have that sort of concept that's like that's old money. Yeah, like that's old to us now, is like
I
having that.
It's the 24-hour cycle, too. Everything moves so fast now.
Right,
like, we talked about Timothée Chalamet being, like, the next big fucking dude. He was everywhere. And
Right.
now, who gives a fuck?
Right.
In 3 weeks, who'll give a fuck about Sydney Sweeney anymore? Like, it's just so quick that we turn people in and out that it does not
Right.
matter. And because everything's so versatile now, it's not just, hey, in 3 months you'll have another movie with this person, and it's oh, you can fucking see him on a Wheatley ad, right?
Right.
It doesn't matter. And on top of that, I think it's the fact that we don't like Hollywood genuinely as a community now. Like, we understand how fucking terrible Hollywood is,
Right.
and everything that's gone on the past 100 years
Right.
behind
So
the
you
scenes
don't
of
want
it.
to send your kids into the system. You don't want to
Right.
support. Right.
So, like, why would I want to support someone who's come up purely through, like, the Hollywood movie star avenue of things,
Right.
when I could watch, Markiplier, right? And I liked Markiplier 100,000 subscribers ago, and I watched him grow and get bigger, and now he wants to do a
Right.
movie. That's
Right.
cool. I'll go watch that movie.
Right.
I think that's the better connection. I'm not saying, like, that makes the people any better, or it's a more pure way, because there's definitely still a lot of corruption in it.
Sure.
But I feel like that's just kind of how things have trended. Of we essentially made our own celebrities
Mm-hmm.
just
Small
by
little niche
yeah.
communities getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then big corporations went, oh, you like this person, I'll make this.
Right. Yeah, that is an interesting point, I guess, is like there used to only be 5 things to watch. Now there's 500 million. And so
Right.
those 5 communities that were huge and massive and had cult followings have now all disappeared into 15 million different
Right.
sub-niche cultures of people. And yeah,
You look at someone like a Robert Downey Jr., right? And he coming up through Hollywood when he was young.
right.
And it's the industry had to make Robert Downey Jr. and sell him to us
Right.
to make him a star. Nowadays, people can just do something and make a name for themselves and then go to Hollywood.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
right.
it's not, you have to be in and behind the scenes to be successful. You get successful and then you can do other things.
Right.
It's like fucking John Cena going to Hollywood, The Rock going to Hollywood, Batista going to Hollywood, right?
Right.
They're not,
They already had their foot in the door,
Yeah,
sort
yeah.
of thing. Yeah.
they were known enough to go and do other things.
Right.
Hollywood now, like movies in general, I think seem like a side project for the most part.
Right.
I see that. Yeah.
It's fair. Because I was going to make the point of, like, it seems like a newer thing that celebrities are trying to get into multiple avenues to make money. But, like, look at the George Foreman grill. Look at someone like Michael Jordan trying basketball and then baseball. Like,
Golf too, right?
Golf, too, right. Like, I guess people have tried to do different things and go
I mean,
into
fuck,
multiple.
look at Air Jordans.
Yeah, right. People have tried to go into multiple avenues before the now in times.
We're just a
But-
big consumer company now.
Yeah, I guess we're just a big consumer population. now.
Yeah, we love to consume.
Which is
I mean,
True.
yeah,
I
there's
mean,
a
look at-
shop on almost everything on your phone. You
Yeah.
could shop on Facebook, you could shop on Instagram, you could shop on TikTok, you can
it is kind
Amazon is booming.
It is kind of crazy. That,
We're
like,
single-handedly just giving Jeff Bezos all of our money.
yeah, fed all this information, all these ads all the time.
Uh-huh.
Buy. Cody Rhodes, I don't even like vodka. buy it.
and then we're supposed to feel bad when there's like a writer's strike and actors can't work.
Yeah.
Fuck you. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
And then they'll turn around and go, "Oh, but we can't make the next Final Destination movie you want to see. I didn't ask for it. Fuck you. I'm not asking."
It's just so weird that Sydney Sweeney would, like, it feels like she's stooping down to a level to sell,
I feel like
So-
that's what Hollywood's become.
stooping down to
Yeah.
a big general stoop down.
Yeah, because the next generation is looking at influencers now, as they call them, right?
Right,
They're not
right.
looking at Hollywood stars anymore. So if your influencer goes to Hollywood, then yeah, you get that crossover.
Right.
But if you're in Hollywood and you're not an influencer, you're not making that revenue. You're not making that cross profit.
Right.
You got to stoop down below yourself and start a stream.
You gotta start TikTok dancing.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Big Hollywood celebrities have to start making TikTok accounts and just to stay relevant.
It's big. All of the stars in Hollywood have a TikTok and are on it regularly
Right.
because TikTok has become so big.
That's so. And I mean, it's one of those things that, like, when Instagram first came out, that made sense. And, like, with all these apps that when we were younger came out, it made sense that the celebrities were going to get them
Right.
and use them, and it was cool. And I guess it's probably the same thing now, but we're old.
I mean, you can just go WSR radio on any of the social medias too. That's the same thing. What the fuck are we talking about? Welcome back to the Rebel Radio Show, live, uncut, and uncensored on WSRR Radio. To my right, Shaney.
Hey, everyone.
On the board is Jules.
Hello.
I'm Radio's Rebel DJ Style. 216-859-8699. That number to text in if you're listening live on this Monday or in podcast form. New episodes out every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. WSRRradio.com. Your homepage for all of that showtime schedules and more. Again, I say, what are we talking about?
Theft.
All right. One time, I went to a gas station, and
Oh my God.
I got a slushie.
Did you steal it?
I did because I walked around the whole store and drank it all before I left, and then I threw the cup out and didn't pay.
You sound like a really cool dude. Probably it's very cool.
I sound like
swag.
Criminal.
Um,
Hardened criminal. Probably deserves 12 to 15
minutes in the punish dungeon.
in the jaw.
Yeah, in the war room. Talk about stealing. This
Electric.
is stealing, no?
So this lady comes to a restaurant
Yeah.
and trips over an electric car that's plugged into the side of the restaurant. Not like a charging station. Someone is charging their electric Kia
Does she
on the
trip
side of
over
the
the
restaurant.
car?
She trips over the cord from the restaurant to the car and says, number one, is this stealing? And unplugs the cord.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, people are saying that she should be suing the owner of this car now for impairing her walking. I think both are valid statements. I think you can't just plug your fucking car in anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just do that. You can't just
Mhm.
plug in your car and take people's electricity. You can do it at a power station,
Mm-hmm.
not just plug it in wherever the fuck you're at. I can't show up at an oil rig
Mm-hmm.
and just take crude oil and make my own gasoline out of it. That would be theft. I can pay at the pump for my gasoline. I can't show up in the parking lot and siphon gas out of your car to fill my car because it's there. That's theft.
Keep the blood pressure down.
That's
Remember what we talked about.
It's theft. You can charge your electric vehicle at a charging station,
I think
not at any outlet.
I think that this lady is a bit of a nosy Nancy for being like, is this illegal, guys? God, TikTok, what do we think? Is this illegal?
Not illegal, unethical.
You said illegal. So that's what I'm going with.
I said theft.
You
I didn't
said
say illegal.
You said illegal. So that's what I'm going with. And so I think that's a little bit of her being a nosy Nancy. Doesn't need to white knight for the Applebee's over here. That seems
I think
a
she
little bit.
does.
It seems a little bit like, how dare thee steal their energy?
Think about it this way.
She'll have you. This is a citizen's arrest. she's gonna attempt a citizen's arrest on this dude as soon as he walks out of the place.
Think about it this way. If you're going to that app, if that's your regular Applebee's you're going to,
I don't have a regular Applebee's.
You do, first
No,
of all.
No, I don't.
you eat at Applebee's more than anyone I know.
It's not true.
You're there like 3 times a week.
It's not true.
You're like, give me the 2 for $27 because the 2 for $22 is long gone.
That's definitely not true.
And you're like, keep bringing the Dollaritas. I'm getting
No.
sloshed at the bees.
The dollar. I don't like tequila.
Well, you get them without tequila.
Virgin?
Yeah.
No.
And then you act
That's a
drunk at the
slushie.
Applebee's. And you steal slushies. So it all comes full circle.
I don't do that. I don't do any of that.
Think about it this way. You're a regular at the Bees, and you're going in for your 2 for $27.
Again.
And you sit down. Shut up. You sit down.
I'm not a 2 for 27.
You sit down.
So I wouldn't be 2 for 27ing
You
at
sit.
this time.
You sit down
So I'm sitting
at the Applebee's.
at
Your
the
regular Applebee's that
don't
you
do
tend
that.
to
I don't
regularly.
have a regular Applebee's
In this
that
scenario,
I've
you
ever
do.
attended regularly.
In this one, you do.
No. And this one?
in this
all right.
instance.
I
You
have
do.
a regular Applebee's.
Aha! Clip that.
Sure, I have a regular Applebee's. Let's go to hypothetical
Okay.
land.
Shane at his regular Applebee's, sitting down, crisscross applesauce in the booth.
I love my regular Applebee's. I love sitting crisscross
He
applesauce.
orders a Dollarita,
I love Dollaritas.
and he notices that for some reason this one small glass is taking twice as long as it normally does.
Mm.
Why? Because half of the building's energy is being siphoned by
Mm.
Jenny's Kia.
Mm. And this
And the blender doesn't have enough power. It doesn't have all of the electrical power that it normally does because some of it is going to fuel someone else's car that's sitting there.
in this scenario, can I shoot myself in the brain? Okay. Cool.
I'm just saying, if someone's paying that electric bill.
Yeah, Applebee's. Slapplequeefs is playing that. Yeah.
So you're not paying the bill. You don't get to use the electric.
I think bring it down to let's zoom in a little bit. You are driving. Oh, see, I don't know. I'm driving and my phone's dead. But if my car doesn't have a charger, that's on me.
See?
I don't know. I'm thinking about if I'm driving and my phone's dead
Yeah.
and I pull up to an Applebee's and I'm like, hey, my phone's dead. Can I charge my phone really quick? I don't think that they would have a problem with that.
Here's the problem with that scenario. You say, hey, my phone's dead. Can I charge it really quick?
Mm-hmm.
And you plug it in for 10 minutes,
Mhm.
get 20%,
Mm-hmm.
and then call whoever you need to call. You pull up to the Applebee's and you say, hey, my car's about to die. Can I plug it in? That's like 3 hours of charge.
No.
20 minutes on a charger ain't going to get you shit.
No. 20 minutes on charger will get you to another charging station. Get you to a charging
I
station.
don't think it will. I think it'll get you to the next Applebee's.
I
I
think
think
you
you're
know how
knocking off
electric
the
cars
Applebee's.
work.
I don't think you know how Applebee's works.
I do. I'm a
'Cause you're
regular.
yeah.
I'm a regular. I
And so,
do.
and so you should be against people stealing from Applebee's.
Again, I am not a pussy. I'm not white knighting for this Applebee's.
I'm just saying. On the other aspect of this, if I trip over this charger, I'm suing.
I'm not tripping over this charger.
If it's just plugged
If
into the
you-
side of the building and
if
it's
you-
obstructing my walkway,
If you trip over that charger, you're a dumbass. If that's my
but
card,
I'm a dumbass who could get a lot of money.
nah, apparently not, because she's not.
We don't know that she didn't sue.
Right? Because she doesn't have a case.
She would have a case. If
No,
you-
she doesn't. Why didn't she sue then?
If your car,
She would have sued if she had a case,
if your
right?
car- no, because not everyone's that smart.
Oh, okay.
Maybe she's a dumbass.
I see. Yeah, and so maybe she tripped over because she's a dumbass.
It could have, but even a dumbass can sue. If
She's
they
not
think of
suing
it,
though.
if she's out of it, she didn't have the right counsel. Her wise man wasn't with her.
God. Bring out Paul. Listen,
If your car is plugged into a charging station and I trip over it, I am in the wrong. I have walked into danger. All right, you
Yeah.
are abiding by the law,
I agree with
and
that.
I went out of my way, and I am paying the price for it. If I am walking down the sidewalk and your car is parked next to the building, between if the sidewalk is between the car and the
Sure,
building,
sure.
and you have a cord coming from your car to the building that is laying in the way of the sidewalk, and I trip over it, I'm suing.
I am
Because
not
number one,
suing.
you can't be doing that.
Disagree. This is America.
Disagree. I'm talking to Applebee's.
No,
I'm gonna say, dear Applebee's, did you give them express permission?
I really
and then
don't.
if they say yes, I'm gonna say, show me in writing.
I think the manager would come outside, look at the sidewalk, and say, "Yeah, you're a dumbass. You tripped over that.
Maybe
That's
so.
your fault."
Hey, maybe so. But everyone knows that coffee's hot, and the lady that spilled hot coffee on herself at McDonald's got a shit ton of money for suing.
I just don't
And
feel
now
like
now they have to say, caution,
there's
cup is hot.
a court case here.
I think there is. I think there's a court case in pretty much anything if you try hard enough.
Well, that is your MO.
You don't
That is
I sue
kind of how
everyone
you.
all the
Yeah,
time.
you're just
actually.
kind of out to sue, which is sick. I respect it, but I don't think that this
It's-
lady's.
This is no different than slipping on some pee-pee at the Walmart. This is no different. The cord shouldn't be there. The pee-pee shouldn't be on the floor at Walmart.
I think she's saying like, "Is this stealing? Are you guys stealing it?" She's trying to get this patron in trouble, because again, that's the other thing. I feel like this person is not in the car. This person is probably
Right, yeah,
in
they're
the,
inside.
Yeah.
inside of
Yeah.
the establishment.
Yeah.
So they're paying.
I think they should pay more.
They're paying customers.
I think they should pay more. Tack it onto the bill. Like
I
when you
mean,
play the little
sure.
mobile game on the tablet on the Applebee's table.
Yeah, we'll charge you double if you want to play Flappy Bird at Applebee's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
We'll charge you double on your steak if you want to charge your car at Applebee's.
Yeah, double everything.
Double everything.
2 Pepsis, 2 steaks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the price of charging.
you're charging your car here? We're gonna double everything.
I would. If I was the on-duty manager at the Bees, and I saw you charging your car
Mm-hmm.
in my building,
Mm-hmm.
I'd double everything up.
In your building?
In
I
my
would-
building.
On duty
I would-
manager?
Yeah,
Dine and dash in your Applebee's, and then you would be
you would be
stiffed
able
with the
to,
bill.
because I would have unplugged your car. You wouldn't be going anywhere.
No, my car would have
that's
charged.
that's the other part I'm going to tell you. I'm charging you for everything double, and I'm unplugging the car.
No.
You don't get to charge it.
Now I'm calling the cops
For what?
because I'm a cop. So I'm gonna say, hey, other cops, get on over here. In this hypothetical, I'm a cop
This
now.
hypothetical is getting wild.
I turned into a cop halfway.
How come you get to be a cop and I'm a manager at an Applebee's?
Dude, this
That's what you chose.
is the lives we
I
lead.
didn't know we
man.
could have picked cop. I didn't know. I thought our choices were Applebee's consumer or Applebee's proprietor.
And I'm
I
a
thought
ninja
those were the
wizard
only
cowboy.
I have
Pirate.
a bomb
In this Applebee's.
in this Applebee's. You better be careful, copper.
Yeah, I just feel like this lady is like trying to she's trying to like get this guy in trouble. She's trying to tattletale on this guy, right?
But I like it.
Or on
I
this
think
person.
This person is very presumptuous to believe that they could do this. Just
I
plug
genuinely,
in.
I don't think this is any different than if I'm driving my gas-powered car and I siphon gasoline.
From the restaurant.
Well, yeah, like if they have a generator or something outside and I siphon gasoline from it.
You know, just siphoning
You just open up the-
gasoline from the Taco Bell
Yeah,
gas generator. You know,
Open up the little
normal
tanks
Wednesday
at the,
night shit.
at the gas station. You pop open the little.
Clearly,
Man
you haven't been
covers.
over here on a Wednesday night in a while, but I've been up to some things.
Yeah, I just feel
What's the
like,
difference?
Well, that doesn't happen.
But
Is the
What's
difference?
the difference? I'm still taking power from somewhere.
No, I
that
don't think
didn't pay for.
No, because I think the more realistic scenario is like you're charging your phone, or you're charging your laptop. Say, that's a bigger power outlet, right?
But like you ask,
But what if you don't?
You don't. Then the people have every right to come unplug it.
Not say anything, just unplug it, walk away.
Yeah.
No, I don't think like I think that they do have the right to come over and unplug it. And I think that if you plug your car in without letting whatever the establishment know or some shit like that, and they come and unplug it, that's on you. But I don't think that you just shouldn't plug it in. Like I think if your car is, you know, whatever, about to die, or and you're in this parking lot and there's a port right there, sure, fuck it, right? Charge for 10, 20 minutes. It doesn't matter. Or like if you're going in to eat somewhere and your car needs power and you plug it in while you're going to eat, I think that that's fine. And I think that if someone trips over it, that's truly on them for being a silly McBilly.
Why are you going out to eat if your car needs charging?
I'm saying like if I'm out to eat,
Yeah.
or if I'm going out to eat and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, my car needs charged.
Don't go out to eat. Charge your car.
I can do both. I
Not in my Applebee's. You can't.
I know that this is a far off concept, but I can multitask. I
Prove
can do
it.
two things at once.
Prove it.
I am being on the radio, and I am being also on the radio.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Stay out of my Applebee's.
That's two things. I'm on your radio, and I'm in my radio.
Sure. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
I think if I'm working at this Applebee's, I'm unplugging the car. If they didn't ask. Like, you at least come in and ask.
Sure, but now you're not getting a tip. If my waiter comes over and unplugs my car, I'm not tipping them.
Well, ask.
No.
Hang on. No, time out.
If I didn't ask and they just
Yeah.
unplug it, I'm not tipping them. I'll take my L. That's my fault
I'm
for not asking.
Hey, I'm not speaking as a waiter.
But I'm not tipping them.
I'm speaking as the manager, first of all.
Then I'm leaving.
If I'm a waiter,
dining
I
and
don't get paid
dashing.
enough to care.
I'm dining and dashing.
I don't get paid enough to care if I'm the waiter.
I'm shitting on the table. And I'm going to say, I need a manager to come over here and clean up this shit. That's what I'm
Are you gonna
saying.
do it in that voice too?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna make sure I request your body cam footage since you are an officer of the law.
No, I'm
and
off
I'm gonna
duty.
show that to your
I'm
crew.
off duty.
Then what do you think you're doing, waving your badge around in my Applebee's?
Letting you know. Letting them know. This is the right hand of the law talking.
Dude,
I'm gonna shit where I
The
please.
police in this town, they really need to fucking straighten up. 216-859-8699 if Shane's a dirty cop.
Whoever is the owner of the gray sedan, you left the Rebel Radio Show playing.
Remember back in the day when you would put like water on the tip of a Sharpie and make it run, so it's like inky.
Mm-hmm.
You get like weird watercolor stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and then you like squeeze the tip and drain it all out so you can drink it.
Yeah, sure.
I have ink
remember.
poisoning.
Have you been to the ink doctor recently?
No, but I've been to the Ink Master, and let me tell you something about Dave Navarro. What a guy.
I like his ink.
216-859-8699 if you want to talk about Ink Master. It's Ink Master, right? Not Ink Masters.
Yeah, I think
Plural?
it's Ink Master.
Because I always say Ink Masters.
I don't know.
Because
Never
there's only
watched
one.
it.
You win.
There's 3.
Am I the ink master?
No, there's only one winner.
It's
right?
Dave Navarro and his 2 buddies are the
No.
judges. They're the Ink Masters.
No, You fight to be the Ink Master.
But there's multiple because there have been multiple seasons.
What determines an ink master?
Dave Navarro.
But how did he
He
get
did-
that
yeah.
title?
He plays bass.
Was he just like, I have a lot of tattoos.
Yeah.
I'm the ink master.
Pretty much, honestly.
Pretty much, I just have a lot of tattoos. So I
He doesn't
call
even
myself the
have
ink
that
master.
many, is the crazy part. Like, there's definitely more tatted. Also, like, didn't have to be a musician, but there's definitely more tatted musicians. Could have got, like, a well-known tattoo guy to be the fucking ink master.
Yeah.
Well, I
Good
think
for
it's
him.
because he's been on a lot of the those tattoo magazines.
Oh, I didn't know that tattoo magazines were a thing.
Yeah.
See,
No, I've been watching Final Destination in the theaters recently, and let me tell you something about these ceilings. I do not think that they are sturdy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah? You think?
Yeah, so apparently, there's a new Final Destination, number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, during the screenings, and also, where we'd say Argentina?
Yeah.
In
Buenos
Aires,
Aires.
Argentina.
Well, buenos noches to you, too.
Hey.
In Argentina, while they were watching the Final Destination movie, the new one, the ceiling of the theater collapsed on people, which, what better time and place, right?
Yeah, right. How apropos. I wonder if it happened during a jump scare.
I wonder if
you
it
know?
happened during a movie scene.
That'd be
Imagine.
Practical
terrifying.
effects.
Yeah, I just feel like like
You know,
What a
someone
more
in like the back
perfect
of the
spot.
theater watched all that happen, and like it took him a minute to realize.
right,
He thought it was part of the movie.
right. Whoa, that's crazy.
Whoa, the theater fell. Wait a minute, this isn't a theater scene.
Dude, yeah, and just how perfect that it's a Final Destination movie, right? Someone sitting like 3 rows back was like, now I have 24 hours or I have a month and death's
Yeah.
gonna try to kill me.
What an interesting franchise to keep making movies for too. Like I thought Final Destination in general was a very early 2000s thing that we had kind of moved past as a society.
Yeah, this is the first one in, I'm assuming, multiple years.
At least a decade. It has to be like a decade. 2012 maybe the last Final Destination was. Right? Final Destination Bloodlines, this is called. The
So,
whole
yeah, this
premise is
is
just
the-
people dying, by the way, if you don't know what Final Destination is.
Yeah, it's like people in the beginning of the movie they nearly escape death, and then the whole movie is them trying to escape death.
And they don't.
Yeah,
2011.
5 was 2011.
So that's close.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's no demand for this.
Right.
And I think this is proof. I
Well,
think this
they're
is the
running out
universe.
of movies. They've just remade like a bunch of the same movies.
Well, this is just the universe saying that we didn't want Final Destination. Maybe don't show Final Destination in my theater.
My theater doesn't
Do we know?
collapse.
Do we know what caused the theater to collapse?
Final Destination.
I mean,
Yeah, I don't know if it.
I'm not saying it did, but
I
I don't know if it does say. According to the recent heavy rain, alleged to be a factor leading into the roof collapse.
it's pretty shitty theater.
Someone on Twitter wrote, "When life imitates art."
Would this be a story if it wasn't Final Destination that was playing?
no, maybe.
Like if they were watching Tarzan
Maybe.
2 in theaters,
It would be a story. It'd be a less interesting story.
it'd be like the scroll bar on the bottom of the news, theater collapse in
Yeah, Buenos
Argentina,
Aires.
yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like, oh, okay. But this is like, oh, it happened during the movie where they almost died.
I
You
wanna
guys
know-
almost died.
if the people watching the movie got to continue watching the movie.
Or the
I
people
would've been
that
mad.
like weren't hurt were like, all right, now
Yeah,
what?
like, can we?
Yeah,
Finish
you
the
guys
movie?
gonna keep
Right, can we keep this rolling? Right. Or yeah, did they get like bumped over to
Did-
like another theater or something like that?
Did the movie stop?
Probably.
Did it keep playing? How long did it keep playing?
They're like,
It
oh
was
shit, we have
ceiling.
to stop it.
And like, did the
The
ceiling?
movie itself was people screaming bloody like
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
while this was happening.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What if it happened during a scene where like something?
Bad was happening.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm thinking like you're sitting where the ceiling collapses, right? You're under the ceiling. There.
Yeah.
At what point do you realize that the ceiling is collapsing? Because I find it hard to imagine it just in one foul swoop the entire ceiling collapsed out of nowhere.
Here's the
Like,
thing.
Especially if it was from rain. At some point, are you sitting in the theater like, did I just feel water? Or like, did I just see dust fall from the sky? there has to be something, right?
You're
It can't
sitting-
just.
You're sitting in a dark theater, so I feel like your senses are less heightened because you're so focused on the movie.
You don't notice the crumbling ceiling chips falling around you.
Yeah, literally. That's what I would imagine. And
Or-
so then it's like I
I
imagine.
guess you wouldn't be able to hear it.
I imagine that your reaction time is more delayed because of the fact that you're in the loud theater.
No.
And so then it's only like if the lights were on and the movie wasn't playing, you'd notice it as soon as it starts to crumble and break.
Yeah, but with like the movie playing, sensory overload with the
Right.
sound.
It might be like already falling and right above your head, and you look up and it's like, koosh. You know, it might crush you instantly.
I don't know about you, but I'm always on high alert in the theater. Like,
I'm
I
always
am-
on my toes.
I feel like I'm more alert in the theaters than in
Yeah.
day-to-day life.
Really?
Yeah.
You're owl, keeping that head on a
Yeah.
swivel in the theaters.
Well, think about it. Someone walks into the theater while you're watching the movie. You tell me you don't notice them every time? Dark ass theater and you're watching a movie and you don't notice someone walk in. I notice it
mean,
every time.
Sure, I probably noticed
Someone
that.
coughs, you hear it.
Sure.
So, like, I think you're more alert. Like a big crack.
But what if there isn't a big crack? What if it just falls?
That's what I'm saying. I
What
don't
if it
know,
just
man.
caves?
Even if, like, okay, so maybe if you're not under it, maybe you're less aware if you're under it. But like, if you're in the back of the theater, and
I
every
think-
so often you're seeing things fall from the ceiling,
I think if you're in the back of the theater, you probably notice it.
probably should have said something.
Probably. It's probably on.
It's probably their fault.
probably their fault.
Honestly,
Yeah.
really, this is all on the people in the back of the theater. They could have stopped the movie. They could have moved to the next theater and continued watching it.
100% their fault.
Also, I'm going back to this theater the next day and being like, I want my free movie.
Yeah, I want free. If I'm in the seats
100%.
Under where the roof collapsed, I'm going back there and I'm saying I want free movies for the rest of my life.
This is a good lawsuit.
Yeah, this is you can sue.
The theater
yeah,
collapsed on
100%.
me.
Yeah, I was watching a scary movie, and the theater collapsed on me.
The fact that it was Final Destination is.
It's so perfect. It's so like you can't make that up.
Do you think they're terrified now? Everybody in that movie theater is like,
I'm next. It's gonna come get me. Yeah.
Would you go back and finish watching? Would you? That's the question. If you were in the rubble area but
Mhm.
weren't hurt, right?
Mhm.
Barely escaped.
Mhm.
And they say, hey, you can come back tomorrow and watch Final Destination for free.
Mhm.
Would you come back and watch Final Destination after that? After you were sitting there
Probably.
watching it and the theater collapsed on you?
Probably.
yeah, that wouldn't happen twice, would it?
It'd be
What were the odds that it collapsed during Final Destination in the first place?
Right. No, I would do it. I'd probably say like, fuck it, okay, I'm game.
Even if I was in the very last row of the theater, nowhere near the rubble,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be demanding free movies.
Yeah, I genuinely think that like the closer that you are to the rubble, the more free movies you should get.
I think everybody in that theater,
Free movies for life.
free movies for life, equally at risk.
Maybe
Because the ceiling could have collapsed anywhere.
anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, if you're gonna go that far, you could say it could have collapsed in any theater.
Yeah, why not? If I'm in the next theater over, maybe I'm coming back and saying, hey,
Yeah.
I want a free movie.
If I went to the movies that day,
Yeah.
at any point,
At any theater.
if I went to any movie theater, that could have been our movie theater. Give me free movies for life. Go to everybody, everyone, quick, new life hack. Go to your local Cinemark and tell them that the ceiling falling in a movie theater in Buenos Aires could have been your movie theater and demand for free movie tickets for life.
Anytime any event happens in a movie theater, if there's a fire in any theater ever, go to your local theater and be like,
That could have
here,
been us. That could have been us.
what would you have done?
I just saw a movie yesterday. I saw a movie
might
last
not
month,
be
dude.
here. Free movies.
The hell is this? Free movies for life.
I don't think it's that hard to get free movies.
It shouldn't be.
I feel like if you asked, most theaters would probably let you in.
I think that you're wrong.
just ask.
I think
to
that
go
it
in.
is probably easy to sneak into movie theaters.
I know it's easy to sneak in movie
Yeah,
theaters.
yeah.
But, like, if I go on, like, a Tuesday at noon, and I'm like, hey,
No.
can I
Nah, they wouldn't let you. They'd probably laugh. Probably laugh at you.
probably give me a discount?
Be like, hey, come on. Maybe. They might give you a discount. I don't know.
I saw someone post about this recently. There's no rule about asking for a discount anywhere you go.
That's true.
The worst you're going to do is pay the amount that you expected to pay.
Here's the thing.
The worst you're gonna do is look like an asshole.
Yeah, that's some boomer ass shit.
You think-
it's not scanning, so it must be free.
You think
You
when
know?
I walk into the Applebee's after charging my electric car, I already don't look like an asshole? I'm walking in asking for 10% off my damn steak.
Hey, can you just give me like 25% off my bill?
Yeah,
please?
no, imagine you go to McDonald's.
Did you have a problem with your service? No, everything was great. I
Yeah,
loved
no,
it
just-
all.
I'm just curious.
Figured I'd ask if I could get a discount.
It's about how you ask.
Maybe.
If I go up to McDonald's and I order like a quarter pounder plain and a fry, and I say, hey, let me get a quarter pounder plain, let me get a small fry. Can I?
Okay.
Can
Say it twice.
Let me reiterate. If I walk into McDonald's and I go up to the cashier and say, hey, can I get a quarter pounder plain and a small fry? Just go to break.
Stop saying Daryl the Wild Man show as if it was like a show that was on it. Well, that's not a thing.
Every Monday on WSRR Radio.
Hold on.
Wait a minute.
Oregon Man? Who's Oregon Man?
Oregon man who quit his job to set sail on the 7 seas.
Yeah, you hear how stupid it sounds when you pronounce it Oregon?
Arrives
Oregon.
in Hawaii with his cat.
Okay, so why are we talking about a guy who quit his job and left with his cat?
Honestly, I brought this in because I hate this so much.
Oh, you hate
And-
cats?
No, I love
Fuck
cats.
cat.
Hate men?
Fuck
hate
man.
sailing?
Fuck sailing.
No, I hate that well, so this guy quit his job and decided to go sailing and has been posting on like TikTok and social media like, hey, I quit my job, no, I'm sailing away, yada yada, I don't want to work. And he showed up in Hawaii to like a bunch of people, like thousands of fans, quote unquote fans,
Mm-hmm.
cheering him on, like, welcome here, we love you,
Right.
sign my shit.
Right.
Like,
No
Who
one
are
asked
you?
him to sign anything. Come on.
Let me open up. Let me open up this. So
Yeah, why
the
don't you express yourself?
Pop it open.
let me pop the hood up a
In the
little bit.
safe zone.
An Oregon man who quit his job at a tire company and liquidated his retirement savings to set sail in Hawaii with his cat, Phoenix, reached his destination Saturday, welcomed by cheering fans at the end of a week-long journey that he documented for his mass following on social media. Oliver Widger, who was also greeted by Hawaii's governor, Josh Green, at the Waikiki Yacht Club in Oahu, acknowledged he was nervous facing the crowd, which included reporters. Widger said he was feeling, quote, really weird, not seasick, but I just feel like I have to, like, hold on to things tight and not fall over. So, he's
he's a nobody that
yeah.
did nothing and is getting to meet the mayor and getting like props for.
Right.
So is Timothy Chalamet.
But Timothy Chalamet.
He's
is
an
in
actor. He did
Dune.
something.
He's in Dune.
So was Elvis.
He was a singer. He did something.
But so you're saying, like, why?
Why? Why do we care? Why
Right.
does anybody have like?
I
why
don't
did-
care.
Why do we care?
Why
right.
did he blow up? Why do they care?
I don't care.
Like,
Right. Why do they care?
why can't this random man quit his job, take his cat sailing, show up to Hawaii, and nobody
Because he posted
be
about
there?
it.
Yeah. I think that's part of it because
He
he posted.
could have
about
just
it.
done this.
Right. He could have just done it with no. I think that there holds a lot of weight in virtual gratitude nowadays. I think that's always held true in like Instagram, Facebook, Vine days, whatever. That's always held true, and there's always been social media like
Pull.
yeah, social media pool and like celebrities who are just famous on social media, you know, like Instagram famous or Vine famous or whatever. Like that's always been a thing people say. But I think nowadays everyone is so chronically online, like even reaching into the more obscure demographics, that like it's not just young people who are like, yeah, I want to quit my job and go sailing to Hawaii who are following this person, but it's like grandmas and business owners and police officers, you know, like because he's posting this on TikTok, it could show up to anybody
Anybody
in
and
any
everybody.
vicinity and anywhere at any time. And so like while it reaches young people who I think that's probably his largest audience, I would assume, is young people who also want to quit their job and sail to Hawaii and stuff like that, because that's a dream. That's
Yeah.
we want to live out through him. We want that like cathartic experience of like
Oh, he's doing that thing I want to do.
right. And so I think there's that, but also now I think it reaches more demos so that someone like the governor would show up and say, yo, this is crazy, you sailed all the way to Hawaii, welcome, you know, like it reaches that kind of audience now because TikTok has such and all social medias now have such a big following of
Anybody in
literally everyone and their
could see
grandmother,
your
like
post.
right
But here's the thing. He's done now. That's it. Like, no one's going to care about this guy tomorrow.
I think. Yeah.
Now that he's there, they've done the whole meme. The meme part's done. He got welcomed. Now he's just a guy in Hawaii.
I think that you're
That's
right. I think that he could squeeze it out.
He could.
Right.
He could make a shirt.
He could make a shirt. He could make, like, I think about Hawk Tua and, like,
You think about Hawk Tuah a lot.
I think about how she had a podcast. She still might.
Talk
And-
to a.
Yeah, Talk Tua.
I mean, it is
And-
good marketing.
She had a her Bitcoin rug pull.
Oh yeah,
She had her-
scammed a bunch of
She
people.
scammed a bunch of people, but like it was. She
That's
didn't
what
even,
this guy could do.
She didn't even know what she was doing. She didn't even know that she was being a part of like a rug pull. So it's kind of, I don't know. It's a strange place to be in for someone like this because they can do like a Bitcoin scheme, right? They have a following enough to get people to say, "Hey, buy this coin. It's a cool coin,"
Yeah.
and then rug pull and make $15,000 or something
It's-
like that. You know,
It's the choice after the fact you have to make. Of,
right?
I don't think this guy went out looking for all of this.
Sure.
I don't think he planned to
Fair.
make like even to be like a viral thing.
Right.
When he initially posted it, he probably
Right.
just posted it to post it.
Right.
I would assume. But it's the choice of when he gets off that boat and the meme is over now. The next step.
What do I
of,
do now?
Do you just go on with your life like a
do I
normal
keep
person,
this
or do
going?
or do you try and milk it like Hawk to a girl? Right.
Do I
Or-
keep this momentum that I have
Right.
going?
Do you guys remember Alex, the guy from Target?
Yeah.
There was just a guy that people thought was attractive
Yeah.
that worked at Target.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he became crazy popular on Vine and he was hanging out with David Dobrik.
Yeah, he's on
and-
Ellen and stuff
Yeah.
like that. I remember.
But that was it, right?
Yep.
It's just so it's what we talked about when we talked about Hollywood, right? It's getting your 15 minutes, but these were organically chosen. Even
Right.
if it is by like a niche audience on the internet,
Right.
this is the person they chose to rally around for this thing
Right.
because it was easy, and now it's over. And now it's that person's next step to say, "Hey, do I want to try and milk this?" It reminds me of potato salad on Kickstarter. Do you know about potato salad on Kickstarter?
Is it the guy that just said, "Hey, I want to make potato salad"?
He said, "Hey, I'm making potato salad," and he had like a goal of $5, and it became such a fucking like, let's rally around this guy. It's so funny. He's started a Kickstarter for $5 to make potato salad,
Right.
and he made fucking millions of dollars because people just kept giving money because they
Right.
thought it was funny.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and now people are fucking like all the time still trying to duplicate. "Oh, I'm making a fucking peanut butter and jelly. Give me money."
I think a lot of that is RNG. I think it's just randomly
Yeah.
generated. Like you're popular because the algorithm picks.
just happened.
Right. The algorithm picked you for enough people at the right time, and you're the right person who posted the right video at the right place, and now you're super fan. Like I think it's completely random. Any girl on the street could have been the Hawk
Yeah.
Tua girl
That's
if
fair.
she said the right thing at the right. It might not have been Hawk Tua specifically. Maybe it's another kitschy slogan that's funny and current.
Was it
but, like,
Bop Shadoo?
yeah, is it Bop Shadoo or whatever? But like, you know, it could have been anyone, and it just happened to be her because
Yeah.
she happened to say the right thing, and it happened to get traction with the right people at the right times. And
Yeah.
so then it blew up, and she took advantage of that.
Yeah.
And she said, "I'm going to spin this and do something with this." And it's interesting to like then go back to the like Hollywood discussion of like, so these people randomly got picked, and now they're, if they can spin it long enough, they could end up in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Rebecca Black was like a meme, but now she's
Yeah.
like a big. She's a she makes real music and has real fans, and like it's not, you know, she
Well,
spun
there's
it.
influencers all over the red carpets now.
Right. I think, like how you guys said, the social media changed the way that we look at actors. I think that social media has also changed the way that people get viral, maybe.
Yeah, there's Mom Talk. Have you guys heard about Mom Talk?
No.
Group of these Mormon ladies. They were
Hell yeah.
on TikTok, and it was just this group, and they blew up so big on TikTok. They now have their own reality TV show,
Right.
and one of them was introducing people at some country music awards.
Oh.
Well, I think about like, I know I'm not, fuck Logan Paul, but he's made a good, like he's good at keeping his momentum spinning.
Watch this guy live cheer for Logan Paul at SummerSlam, by
I
the
think
way.
that
We all booed him.
No, definitely booed
nope.
him hard.
Watched when he hit that fucking plancha
That's a
to the
lie.
outside. Everybody
Okay,
cheered, and
that
you
was-
looked at
That's
me
a
and you said,
lie.
"Okay, that's good."
Yeah, okay, yeah. Still fuck
Watched
Logan
you
Paul.
cheer for Logan
still,
Paul at
still fuck
SummerSlam.
Logan Paul. I'm still on that fuck Logan Paul shit. But he's
But
really
we still
good
booed
at,
him out the building.
But he's good at spinning that momentum and keeping
Yeah.
himself
Yeah.
relevant, right? He kind of fell off YouTube, and then he did the podcast, and the podcast was popular, and he kind of interjected himself into WWE. Podcast kind of fell off a little bit. Now he's big into WWE right now, and that's his big shtick.
Yeah.
And he's got that HBO Max. I think about it really clicked with me when I saw that he had an HBO Max reality show with his family.
Yeah, Paul
Yeah.
American.
Paul American. I'm like, that's really crazy that he kept this thing going all the way to a full-blown reality TV show.
Yeah.
Years of YouTube and boxing and doing this and doing that, vlogging, whatever, doing all of the YouTuber stuff, doing all of the boxing stuff, all of the WWE. Like, he's good at keeping it going when he starts to feel that momentum dying. He's good at pivoting and finding something new to make
Prime.
Prime.
But to your point, that's the difference. That's the difference between somebody who is actively trying to stay on top of it and go to the next step and realize what they have to offer and what they can do versus someone who gets that RNG of 15 minutes and then tries their very best to cling to that. We watched All Hawk 2 had was a slogan.
Right.
Nobody cared about that
Right.
podcast.
Right.
Nobody cared about the fucking crypto rug pull.
Right.
And now it's nothing.
Right.
Because that's all there was to offer. You tried to build an entire character off of one fucking saying,
Right.
and it didn't work.
And I think
and you
even
tried to cash it, and it made money.
even,
But obviously, Logan Paul wants to do these things and is looking to that next step of like, okay, well, I see the podcast isn't going to go well. Let's go full swing in this. Okay, I see this isn't going to go well. Let's go full swing in this.
I think that works well. Even to your point, like he was trying Crypto Zoo,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
Crypto Zoo didn't work out, and he rug pulled a lot. He still owes people millions of dollars from Crypto Zoo.
No one's ever getting that money.
It's an active lawsuit. No one's ever getting that money.
No.
But it's an active lawsuit that he is actively a part of for being the head of a rug pull Bitcoin operation. And it's just crazy to me that, like, Hawk Tua did the rug pull. She didn't even know that it was happening. And I don't think that Logan necessarily knew.
Yeah,
He
I
might
don't
have,
think so.
you know, I don't judge here or there. But, like, her fame has died after
Yeah.
that. She did the rug pull thing, and it was kind of like, fuck her, now fizzles off into nothing.
Yeah.
Logan Paul just keeps going and going and going. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
He's
if he.
been full on canceled before.
It doesn't matter if he
and
films
he's back.
people in the suicide forest. It doesn't matter if he scams
hasn't,
people. It doesn't matter what he does because he keeps being able to find his audience of people who say, yeah, you know, he's not that bad actually. He's kind of cool.
How'd you
Actually, I
like him?
like Prime's not that. Prime actually is very good actually.
Prime's kind of gross.
He finds his audience. Is my point though.
Yeah.
My bigger point was I think you're 100% right. RNG can happen to anyone at any time, right?
Right.
Anybody can get that 15 minutes for doing anything at any point as long as there is some kind of rally around it.
Right.
But that's the difference between being someone who is the receiving end of an RNG following versus someone who is actively set out to do something.
Seeking out those RNG.
Like, because
right,
Logan Paul was
right.
a content creator. He was a YouTuber,
He
right?
was already
Wasn't
looking
that
for
the
that
thing?
stuff,
He,
right.
That's what he wanted to do.
He was looking for those big, shocking moments. Right. And he got them.
Yeah.
Right.
And like it or not, he was good enough at it to get to the next level and understands the back end of it enough to continue to progress. Whereas someone who gets that RNG probably doesn't have the mindset of, oh, I want to be famous in mind.
Right.
Randomly gets a huge
Well, that's
following
what-
one
that's
day
what I'm
and goes,
saying,
well,
like-
now what?
He's good at finding that pivot
Right.
and like finding his audience in whatever avenue it might be. I don't think that the same people that were buying Maverick Logan Paul vlog T-shirts and hoodies are the same people that are drinking Prime now.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's a different audience. I think that audience has aged up and moved on to other things, and now he finds other young audiences to target his services to or whatever.
That sounded.
You know what I mean? Target his
Yeah.
products to whatever. So like he's good at marketing, and yeah, I think he has that, like, you'd call that ambition. You know,
Sure.
He has that drive to, like, okay, well, this isn't working. What can I do now? This isn't working, or he has his hands in multiple baskets. You know what I mean? I'm doing the show, and I'm doing WWE, and I'm doing Impulsive, and if this one fails, I have these other two, and
Let me ask you guys this, because this is the topic that got us on this discussion in the first place, is have any of these overnight internet sensations actually amounted to anything post a couple months? Like, is there anyone that blew up because of like one small thing and we're still talking about them and they're still prevalent in our culture?
I would say yes. I don't think that I could give you a specific example right now, but I think that there's been so many of those people trying to milk it that statistically has to be a couple that are still around that people still know about. I can't think of any one-off rip because it's about being able to like reinvent and remarket. You
Sure.
know what I mean? So like, he failed at CryptoZoo. He's not going to do another crypto coin. He's going to do Prime or the Feastables or whatever. You know?
I think my point is, to my knowledge, that I can think of,
right.
I can't think of anyone who has taken that random overnight audience and used it as like a launching pad to actually continue a full career
Right.
where they don't have
Touch
to
me
do anything
outside.
else.
How about that?
Yeah, that's very true.
Whoa, hang on. No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put that the same.
No, she has a big rap following.
Big.
She is a
Huge.
rapper. Bad Baby is like a very.
I thought that
notable-
was a meme and it's over.
No.
She
She's-
makes like millions of dollars off of her rap music. Like, you know, she's on the
That
level of like Cardi
Took me
B
a
or
second,
something
but
like
I was
that.
going through a
Yeah,
list.
no, Catch Me Outside is a good ass pool because she genuinely, had the Dr. Phil interview, basically got blasted for 6 months on social media, and then was like, I'm gonna start rapping, fuck y'all, and it actually worked.
Everybody, she has a very big following.
That's a very good pool.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I think that is a good one.
All right, so maybe there's one.
Yeah.
but I mean,
There's
it
probably
does.
more,
But I'm saying it.
but-
The point being, it does
Right.
happen.
Right.
It's not impossible. I just think that I don't know.
But I guess that goes to my overall point of, I don't think this guy, the guy who left his work
Oh,
with this
yeah,
cat,
no. He's
was-
not going to be blown
well,
up.
he wasn't looking for that when he set out to do this. And I think if anyone is actively looking for that, I think it happens organically more than it doesn't, that people just find something
Yeah.
and stick to it.
Yeah.
And because of that, that's why we don't see the longevity. I think if anyone is actively trying to get that overnight success blow up, I don't think it pans out as well as they would like it to because they don't have the follow through.
Right. Yeah. I feel like it's one of those things where you almost know that you can almost see it in someone that they have that ambition in them. They're always doing something.
Yeah.
There's always something. There's always a new project or a new, right? And it's like, if that person succeeds, yeah, that makes sense. On to the next one. And
Right.
so it's like, I think with someone like, for as an example, a Logan Paul, he saw something that succeeded with YouTube, and
Yeah.
he was like, okay, I'm going to move forward now. I'm going to take the next, I'm not just going to keep doing YouTube and coast off this. I'm going to try boxing, or I think that was his next venture probably, was boxing,
Yeah.
internet celebrity boxing matches. And then he was like, I'm good at this. I'm athletic. I can do WWE, and I have Prime.
Yeah.
And, you know, like...
Whereas the sailing guy is probably just going to be like, all right, I made it to Hawaii. I quit my job. I'm probably just going to hang out.
Right. I'm just
And-
going to live in Hawaii. It's one of those things where you have to make that conscious choice of like what we were talking about before, of like, you have to want to make that new content instead of just coasting, because, and like, maybe he is someone with that drive, and so the next thing that this person does is really cool. Maybe he climbs a mountain or something like that with his cat.
His cat, and he videos it.
Right, but that's just because he wants to. That's not, like, he's not seeking out the content. And so I think it's just a difference in person, right? Do they have natural drive in their life, and do they also subsequently film it? You know?
Film everything they do.
Right.
Yeah.
I've been trying to think of someone else, and I genuinely think, no pun intended, I think Logan Paul is the prime example. Because, like, I'm trying to think of, like, especially influencers, people who started online as a YouTuber or as a streamer or something.
Mm-hmm.
Who else
I'm trying
has gotten to
think-
that level and been able to be so successful in multiple ventures?
Oh,
I was honestly just trying to think of like
YouTubers who
random-
make movies now, and there's definitely like
To the level of Logan Paul, though.
probably, yeah, just not in our face.
Oh yeah, there's definitely.
You think there's not
some.
like animators who started on YouTube and now
No,
work
absolutely,
at Disney
but
and
like
stuff
everybody
that?
knows the name Logan Paul is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but
the
that's
the fact
because
that
he
we can't
wants
think
that.
of another one right off the top of our head is what I'm getting at. Is like, because I thought of like, okay, who's another big YouTuber that transcended the medium? Ninja did for a while. He was on daytime TV shows. He had a gaming league. They
Mhm.
tried to give him his own TV show,
Mhm.
and then that was over. I'm sure he still streams. I never watched him to begin with, but I'm sure he still streams. I thought of Markiplier. Markiplier was huge for like our generation growing up, and he went and he just did a movie, and he's done some TV projects, but like, what else has he done? Even Ego Raptor, right? He owns Game Grumps now and has a bunch of different side projects and game companies off that, but it's not a household name.
Yeah, I don't know if Logan Paul is.
I'm not saying he's the only one. I think he's the prime example though of
yeah,
someone who took that and ran with it.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's kind of like what he was going for, right? Like he always went for the he wants shocking. He wants you to be in awe, and he wants you to, and so he's always going for the next big thing, right? Yeah, I mean, I think that he's a good example of that.
What can I say? I guess sometimes it works out to film in the suicide forest.
No.
Historically, that's a fact.
I think that's
Historically,
not a fact.
sometimes it works out to film in the suicide
I think Logan
forest.
Paul is still a fucking piece of shit.
I don't disagree.
You sound like you disagree.
I'm saying he's got a good work ethic,
Sounds like
and
you
I'm
like
saying
him.
I like him in WWE. He's still a piece of shit.
Okay. You're tiptoeing a line there, pal.
You've watched a Chris Benoit match or two.
I don't like him.
Neither do I.
I don't know what that has to do with liking Suicide Forest guy.
216-859-8699 if you want to hang out. 216-859-8699. That
Come hang
number to
out.
text in to the Rebel Radio Show live at 5 every Monday right here on WSRR Radio. WSRRadio.com, of course, the homepage for all of our live shows, showtimes, schedules, and more. We're supported by all of our awesome sponsors like Synergy Music Studio out of Chicago, Hellbender Vinyl out of Pittsburgh, PA, GenericClothes.com, and Hatches Honey out of the 330. 216 again, 859-8699, our number to text in. You can listen to us on WSR Radio Live 365 or us-radio.com. If you want to listen to the podcast, we're out every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Eastern, and you can check out all of our other great shows like Shaney's Off Air. You can check out The Pigeonhole. You can check out our morning sports show at 10 a.m. on WSR, Behind Enemy Lines with Lucas and Dom. That's the Cleveland sports show from Pittsburgh, as well as Indie Insights, The Grab Bag. And at 10 p.m. during the weekdays, you also get True Vault Escapades. That's a Fallout-based radio drama from Preston Harden and his crew. Again, for all of our showtimes, schedules, and more, WSRRradio.com. You can also follow us on Discord and chat with all of us and the community in there on a bunch of different topics like conspiracies, Marvel, wrestling, and a whole assortment of things. Until next time, I've been Radio's Rebel DJ Styles. On my right, Shaney.
Bye, everyone.
On the board is Jules.
Adios.
Peace. Peace. Play.